Hey everybody, and welcome to the A.C.E Football Academy. Happy St. Patrick's Day to those that are listening. Hope everybody's planning on enjoying the weekend. We are here for our March 17th edition of our World Soccer Roundup. As opposed to last weekend when we kind of looked at the schedule and we didn't love a lot of the games. Of course, the MLS is kind of just getting started. We didn't love a lot of games in other leagues. We got some good ones this weekend.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some interesting games, and not necessarily top table type stuff here, but we got some relegation issues going on that are going to be very interesting, especially in the English Premier League. So let's dig right into La Liga. Again, you can watch them on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. First game up is Osasuna, 8th on the table, versus Villarreal, 6th on the table. What's up, Eddie, on here for this one?
This is a pick 'em. One of those games where we're tight on the table, and Vegas is letting you pick your poison there. That's a pick 'em with an over-under of 2, so looking like a low-scoring affair according to Vegas this weekend.
Next one up, El Clasico. This is the one that everybody's going to think about. Barcelona versus Real Madrid, two giants. I mean, if you don't know who these two teams are, you've been living in a rock, I guess. I don't know. Barcelona currently number 1 on the table. Real Madrid number 2. So this is going to be the real deal. What's our odds on this one here?
Yeah, and of course they're 1 and 2, right? Couldn't be any other way. This is a pick 'em. So again,
Shocking.
Yeah, whoever you like, whichever side you support, there always seems to be that, really, really hardcore Barcelona supporters and really, really hardcore Real Madrid supporters. You don't find a lot of people who go, "Oh, I kind of like both," So it is a pick 'em, and then with an over-under of 2.5, I am looking. If you forced me to take a bet on this game, I would take the over.
Okay.
Both of these teams, very direct. They like to get up and down the field. They like to score goals. So if I had to take a bet, I would take the over. But since we do a pick 'em, and I will pick. I'm going to take Barcelona.
Okay. I'm actually not going to take the over. I'm taking the under on this one. I'm also going to take Barcelona. I think Barcelona's finally getting that transition where they have lost Messi and a few other individuals. So I'm taking Barcelona here.
Me too.
El Clasico, can't miss it. Sunday.
I want to say 3 o'clock. Don't quote me on that, guys, but I think it's mid-afternoon, I think.
Yeah, big game. All right, moving on. We're going to Bundesliga. Watch them on ESPN, ESPN Plus. And first game is FC Union Berlin, 4th on the table, versus Eintracht Frankfurt, who is 6th on the table. What are we looking at here?
Again, another pick 'em. Like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, lots of good games this weekend. Lots of fun, interesting games, kind of middle-of-the-table games. So it is a pick 'em with an over-under of 2 goals.
Yeah, the pick-ems tell you they're expecting a tight game.
Right.
So pay attention to this one. Moving on here to Serie A, CBS Sports or Paramount. First game, we're looking at Lazio, 3rd on the table. AS Roma, 5th on the table.
And it is another pick 'em. It is another pick 'em with an over-under of 2. For this one, I guess based on where they are in the table, it's a little bit of an upset, but I'm going to take AS Roma.
Yeah, I've been an AS Roma fan for quite some time now. I love the city of Rome to begin with, so I as well want to take AS Roma. I don't know if I'm going to take an over-under on this, but if I was to just make a flash decision, I'll probably take the under again.
I'll take a push.
Okay.
I'll take a push.
All right. Next game on the weekend, we have Inter Milan, number 2 on the table, versus Juventus, number 7 on the table. Another big game here.
Yeah, we're 4th game in, and we finally got a spread to play with. Inter Milan is a half-goal favorite in this matchup with another low over-under of just 2 goals.
All right, moving on to English Premier League. Again, you can catch them on USA, NBC Sports, and, of course, Peacock for streaming. First game up, this is where we've been talking about relegation teams. Relegation this season is crazy tight in the English Premier League. Champions League positions, Europa positions are getting very feisty, a lot of movement going on there. So game number 1, we have Southampton, 20th, dead last on the table versus Tottenham, currently 4th. What do we got here?
Yeah, so let's look at the betting odds, and then we can kind of dive into where we are in the relegation situation. The betting odds for Southampton and Tottenham is a half-goal favorite with an over-under of 2.5.
Yeah, I think when we looked at this, we were pretty shocked at how close the points are from 20th up to 12th, I believe. What's our gap between those two?
So Crystal Palace is currently in 12th place, sitting at 27 points. And then Southampton is in 20th place at 22 points. So really, you're just kind of looking at a game and a half difference in an 8-spot swing. And again, several teams through there. Just as a note to our listeners, we are recording this week on Tuesday. So I know there's some games tomorrow. So by the time this comes out, those points may have swung a little bit. But that is where we are right now. So as you mentioned, relegation extremely tight right now.
Yeah, I think just getting a draw for these bottom table teams is going to be very important. They've got about 10, 11, maybe 12 games remaining in the season. So points. Not necessarily wins, but get what you can.
And I think this will be a really tough point.
It's going to be interesting. Tottenham's been struggling. They've been a little bit inconsistent here lately. We're excited to see how that works out. Next game up, another interesting match here. We have Manchester United, number 3 on the table, versus Brighton, who is 7th on the table. And this is an issue where I think a surprise team in Brighton is really pushing those Europa Champions League positions.
They really are. And we have an over-under of 2.5 on here. Guys, I apologize. I was not able to find a goal spread. Again, we're recording this on Tuesday. A lot of times those don't come out until Thursday. So check in with your favorite Vegas sportsbook on Thursday and try and get that spread. But it is an over-under of 2.5.
I would expect Man United to have the goal push on this one here, but Brighton's playing some really nice soccer.
They really are.
And I'm going to take Brighton to get some points here. Here's what's going to be interesting. Man United got embarrassed last week by Liverpool, and they're going to be expected, not just, gambling odds, but Man United is going to be expected to blow them away as far as a revenge game here. But I think Brighton's playing confident, logical soccer, and I'm going to take Brighton here.
All right. I agree to a point. I do think Brighton is going to get some points, but I think it's going to be a point. I see a draw here. I was shocked by what Man U did last weekend. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I understand the whole, we got to come back with a fire and intensity, but I also see the other side of that. I mean, you got your butts whooped. Really, just a half of soccer. I mean, I think that game was 1-0 at halftime.
It was.
And ended 7-0 or 8-0, somewhere along those lines. And I think that's hard to recover from. I really do.
Yeah, that goal didn't score until the end of the first half. And being a Liverpool fan, I was excited about it, but Man United lost that game rather than Liverpool winning that game. Yeah. There were some really bad mistakes, ball handling issues, and Man U gave that game to Liverpool, and they only have themselves to blame here.
Yeah.
Moving on here to MLS, you can catch them on Apple TV. And first game up, St. Louis City.
How about it?
3-0, number 1 in the Western Conference versus San Jose, 5th in the Western Conference. They are 2 wins, no draws, 1 loss. I wasn't expecting to see St. Louis City, but what are our odds here for this one?
Yeah, so St. Louis City is a half-goal favorite with an over-under of 2.5. And with that kind of St. Louis City, that talker, City SC, I believe is what they're calling themselves. They are scoring all the goals. I mean, they've been a lot of fun to watch. I watched them last weekend a little bit, and everything they do just seems so fluid and so easy. Yeah. Been really, really impressed with them. So, yeah.
And a lot of credit goes to their head coach. putting a random team together first season, and they're just rolling right off the bat. That is solid recruiting, drafting, and training sessions going on here. So heads off to them. Next game up, we have Seattle, who was number 3 on the table, versus LAFC, number 2 on the table, both again the Western Conference. This is going to be a very interesting game that really kind of two powerhouses going after each other.
It is. Yeah, definitely. It is a pick'em, so Vegas kind of sees it that same way, where we got two really solid teams, an over-under of 2.5. Watched Seattle pretty closely last weekend because they were playing FC Cincinnati. I know Seattle, they had their chances. They had the goal called back late in the match. But really, until Cincinnati went down to 10 men, I thought FCC really controlled the game, which has been typical of the FCC this year. But I really thought that would be more of a 50-50 type possession battle. And I was shocked with the lack of possession, the lack of control that I saw from Seattle. And LAFC looked really good last weekend.
They did.
So I'm going to keep rolling with the hot hand here, and I'm going to roll with LAFC.
I think you kind of have to. Seattle just – I don't know what happened there. Either FCC has just continued their climb as far as the talent on their team. LAFC whomping New England 4-0 last week. So I as well am taking LAFC on this. I'm going to take the over, and I expect another dominant performance from LAFC here.
All right, awesome. Well, a lot of fun soccer this weekend. Coach, we forgot at the top of the podcast, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but this past weekend I went 2-2 on my picks. Dunham over here had the hot hand. He went 3-1. And so if you're keeping track, that pulls us to all square 2 weeks in. So hope you're playing along. Make sure you comment your picks for us. And looking forward to a fun weekend of soccer.
Absolutely. Looking into it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This has been the A.C.E Football Academy.